Welcome, guys, to the 2023 season recap. Well, we started the season like we ended it, and that was dealing with hog damage. Since then, last year we removed 165 hogs off our little farm. You guys know we're pushing to try to grow 140-inch deer, and we're leaving no stone unturned. We put out our mineral mix, about 700 pounds worth. I definitely noticed utilization by does, and I noticed an increase in antler rack size. And a little something else that we did that I believe helped, because healthier deer matters, we used a little bit of wormer, which is a cattle wormer, Durafend. We started adding it to the mineral sites. And I know this, every little thing you do that doesn't hurt, it helps you. So at the end of the day, I would definitely recommend trying the Durafend. You got to make sure you keep it out of the water. But we threw you some photos in here of does utilizing it. You can see the size of the hole there. But we were just getting started. In February, we've got our breaks in. We brought our friends from forestry in, and we burned. We burn the fields, we burn the oak savanna. We're doing it on a rotational basis, so we keep a little bit of food on the ground, nesting cover and brooding habitat all at the same time. And again, that's one of those things you can do to improve your property. We've noticed we've been in a decline, but we've noticed if we keep burning and we keep that brood, feed, habitat mix for the turkeys, that they are coming back and we are seeing more. And I think you can see here, we got a few more that have come back this year, and it gets us pretty excited for spring, because you might say the Whitetail Cartel, and we are, but the truth is there's nothing like that old gobbler sounding off on a beautiful spring morning, and you know he's there and you're going to hunt. Now, we're leaving no stone unturned. We're trying to get away from synthetic fertilizer, and we went with this plot boost and the plot till stuff that we sprayed from our little four-wheeler sprayer over all our food plots. And I gotta say, we applied it 2 times, maybe 3 times. Maybe I should have applied it 5 times, because truthfully, I didn't notice a tremendous difference in growth characteristics from our winter mix. Now, this gives you an example of the type of sheds we find usually before we started pushing for 140. I'm looking for a lot better than that this year. We added extra feed. I put in another food plot that's about 1 acre. We planted it, something that we normally don't do in Georgia, to a summer mix. You see there our little screening mix that we planted. It did okay, but I got to find a better source of fertilization, and I also have to find a way. Doe numbers here are high, and if you're not careful with the summer mix, a lot of times it looks like you didn't even plant it, because the lab and stuff, the deer ate it out to the point by the time it had 3 leaves on it, the plants were gone, and it looked almost like you hadn't planted it. So we're going to refine that plan this next year. Did some grain sorghum along with this sun hemp and stuff, and the grain sorghum worked because it produces a good head. The deer don't utilize it until fall. I think we got some hunting footage, if not on this video, it's on one of our others, of hunting over the grain sorghum. And I'll say this, the no-till worked, and the buckwheat and the soil amendments that we put in worked, because we made good grain sorghum. This was also an addition that we started this year. I've never hunted with feeders before, and I've never put out feeders before during the summer. But as you can see, it helped. As far as feeders go, this was new for us this year. I did like it in that we got to inventory deer that were on the farm. You know, you see a lot of bucks that you wouldn't have seen otherwise. I still don't feel comfortable shooting over a feeder myself personally, but I certainly don't fault anybody that does. But I do like having them there, because it keeps the deer on your place. Like this guy, I know he's going to be there next year. Nobody killed him. It keeps the does there. We're able to do protein during the summer and keep that up all the way through. And you see on here, we got a mature deer here that my buddy elected not to shoot, but again, we're pushing for the 140, and we're leaving no stone unturned as we can help. But it lets you get an inventory on these young guys, so you know here's a young buck that, okay, a couple of 3 years from now, he's going to be somebody that should be all right if he gets adequate food and nutrition. And that gets us excited and keeps us back hunting. Now, this deer that's upcoming, my buddy elected not to shoot this guy. Sadly, he went next door and got killed by a neighbor. But that's the thing when you're trying to manage free-ranging whitetail deer, that's going to happen. Now, do we wish it hadn't? Yeah. But fact of the matter, it did, and that's part of it. You're going to have times that you have one, you don't shoot him because you hope next year he's going to be bigger and he doesn't make it till next year. But that's part of the game that we as hunters, it's part of the game that we just have to deal with. Now, I couldn't let the end of the season recap go without including my favorite hunt. Saw a bunch of different young bucks on this hunt, and you'll see later a big guy comes in. It's a guy I had passed the year before and kind of kicked myself for doing. Was able to get him with the bow, which I was very excited about. But the white oaks were dropping. It was a cool October day. The first cold front of October in Georgia, the first cold front of October is a big deal. But it just kind of validated what we were doing with management, with putting out the minerals, with keeping everything, the food plots up, doing summer plots, keeping a monitor on the deer. And let's face it, I enjoy managing now as much as I do the actual hunting, but at the same time, when it comes to fruition, that's what gives you a really good feeling because that's what it's all about. I apologize about the footage. It's grainy, it's dark, it's Tacticam that was on my bow, but I do have some pictures of him in the light, but that's the best one I had of actually getting the shot off. This deer wound up taping out at 124. He was 6.5 years old, spread was 18 inches. Mature deer, he wasn't going to get better, and I was glad to take him. It's that time of year now. We're burning, we're fertilizing, we're starting our minerals. Stay with us next year because you don't know. We're still pushing for 140, and thank you guys for watching.